All right, Mara, you wanted it. Let's go. What is your timing bad? Mara. What? Is he not answering anything? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Mara, this is what you're not allowed. You can't hear anything? Oh, you're screwed. Okay.
Okay, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Swamp Creatures, everybody. Mara was going to take the reins like about 5 seconds before the show starts. He's like, I got the intro on this one. I'm going to do such a good job. And he blew his wad. He blew it. It's okay. Welcome, Reed Coverdale. If you haven't seen him all over Twitter, all over the libertarian sphere, he has been dunking on all these politicians and all these fakertarians everywhere. Thank you for coming on, Reed. Welcome to the Swamp Creatures.
Thanks for having me on. And for those watching, I purposefully made sure to not watch any episodes prior to this because I wanted to have no idea what the hell I was getting into. So here we go.
We're gonna make sure we're gonna try to make it memorable.
I feel like that's how Eric Andre did most of his good shows. He was like, yeah, come on the show, but don't watch it. I don't know if you've seen the Eric Andre show. It's pretty hilarious. No,
we're taking drinks for shit we don't know.
That's all right.
Mara, you want to try a second wind at it bringing us in?
All right. So this time, when Tim doesn't intentionally deafen me to sabotage me. Speaking of drinks, let's go around. Of course, we have a 2-drink minimum, unless you're me. What are we drinking tonight? Let's start with Mitch.
Well, I have a combination of 2 wines. I'm finishing off the Federalist because I still have a little bit left in here.
Literally, oh my God, he didn't finish it from last time. You bitch.
No, that's why I'm at 3 drinks tonight. Trust me, I didn't forget. And then I also have this cheap wine from the first time that we did this show. So might as well get rid of both of these bottles.
All right, I like
Sutter Home. Cheap ass wine.
Is that from a gas station?
No,
$6 wine, dude.
Yeah, you
$6
can.
wine from the really nice liquor store that I normally go to.
Well, you can also get it at the gas station.
I believe it. I really do. Considering how much I feel like shit after drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to Tim. What's on your desk today?
Tonight we will be testing the theory of whether or not beer before liquor actually does make you sicker. So I'm starting with Bud Light. I already had 2, I think, and then I've got some brown sugar bourbon left over that I'm going to be doing after that. So,
boy,
that just sounds dangerous.
We're going to find out. It's all for science. We care about science now, don't we, boys? We care about science. So
trust the
science. Have to follow the science.
Which science you talking about?
Experimental.
The science.
All right, Robert, what do you got?
This has been a recent regular, the Purity vodka distilled 51 times. I'm on a bit of a diet, so I'm going the 0 calorie. I added a little calories with the pineapple. It's just a vodka water with some pineapples and pineapple juice.
Sounds gay, dude.
Pineapple juice.
It actually loosens your butthole like really, really good. So
what the? What?
Clint,
it's just naturally loosens the butthole.
All right, so
is it the pineapple juice or the alcohol? Now I'm curious.
Yeah, well, it's the pineapple juice, and the pineapple does other things to, bodily fluids and such. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You know.
Fuck, man, the hippies on my profile that talk so much about pineapple juice. Jesus Christ. That I didn't know.
Pineapples are just delicious, anyway.
So can I hit Reed with the hammer real quick?
Just are you drinking anything, Reed?
No, I'm a truck driver in Utah, and to buy anything over 0.2%, you have to know somebody. So I
didn't. Oh man!
Can I hit him now?
Yeah, hit him now.
Do it.
All right, this is all in good fun, so don't just rage quit on me. But why do you hate the Jews so much?
I come from a very evangelical right wing. So, by the way, today I've been Israel posting like crazy because
I know that's why I
retweeted that one. That was not my post. That was the Massachusetts Mises Caucus who did the burning.
Yes, this one. Yeah.
Check out that guy to the left with the cat.
Ryan Dawson.
No. Go with the burning the flag.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
With the guy where your mouse is on, or my mouse. Yeah, that guy. He's kind of like rebelling, but also thinking about growing out his Jew hair.
No, I just thought these were funny, man. I was laughing my ass off with this one in particular.
Yeah, I can't claim to have made any of the memes, but I don't know. I mean, today I've been going extra hard because of the Iron Dome thing that passed yesterday unanimously, pretty much, with just a few dissenters. And I come from like an extremely evangelical right-wing background where Israel is, like you can't even say anything bad about them. If you even talk about disassociating with them, then you want God to turn his back on the United States and you want the country to, go the way of Rome. And
where are you from? Like state-wise, city-wise, where are you from?
New Hampshire, which is actually like the second most atheist state in the country, but my family was like really religious. And
was that before or after all the libertarians immigrated there? That they were the most atheist. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I just got worse. That might have. I don't know. Like I think it's Vermont and New Hampshire, like the two that fluctuate. They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like there's still that heavy propaganda that Israel is our greatest ally and that they're trying to advance our best interests through the Middle East. And Saudi Arabia is also a horrible country that, we give a lot of money to and give a lot of weapons to, but they don't have a popular image, I don't think. Like your average American, if you ask them about Saudi Arabia, they're probably going to be like, yeah, they throw gay people off of roofs and they're brutal and we don't like them or whatever. Where if you ask them about Israel, it's like, oh, they're the only democracy in the Middle East and we should support them. So I kind of just go hard on Israel because the narrative is different. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like you and Austin Peterson were recently talking about libertarian sacred cows, and I think this is like a duopoly sacred cow is like the Israel question. Not so much more recently with the left, but it definitely is one of those touchy subjects where if you have any criticism for Israel at all, you're all of a sudden an anti-Semite, you hate the Jews, you're a Nazi, all this kind. So that was the joke. But yeah, you got it.
Oh yeah, no, I've been called a Nazi for like the last 3 months by the Fakertarians. I don't follow them.
I thought you blocked them. You didn't follow Jose Galason's advice?
So no, I didn't block them on Twitter, but on Facebook, I know someone
I see.
Follows the group, and like apparently they follow me on sock accounts and just take little snippets of what I'm saying or whatever. And I'm a dedicated there, so
nothing better to do.
Dedication right there. Like
the Fakertarians I'm in their discussion group. They say some pretty fucking dumb shit. Holy hell.
I mean, I'm like sort of gay for Spike Cohen and Dave Smith too, so it's kind of that they call me a Nazi all the time. Like
Cotton 4K.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I mean we talk about that all the time. Like all of the major leaders of the Mises Caucus movement, because you're a recent convert to the Mises Caucus, right? The last 2 months. So welcome to the cult. Praise Dave. But yeah, I mean, like that's something that we talk about all the time. Like they always call us Nazis and anti-Semites, but the major figures throughout the group are all Jewish, and we seem to have no problem with them. But whatever.
Nazi sympathizing Jews.
Yeah, and frankly, as our resident Jewish Nazi, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here, just because.
I forgot you were Jewish.
Fuck you guys.
10%. Thanks, ancestry.
Sorry, Reed. We
okay.
I got to leave the screen now. I didn't realize.
That's what did it.
I'm out. Nice try, Mossad. But no, in regards to Israel and Palestine, I don't really have a bone to pick in this race because it's one of those things where I can kind of see both sides, but at the same time I kind of criticize both sides. So whenever this debate comes up, I like to play devil's advocate for whatever side is in front of me. Mm-hmm. And frankly, like the most compelling arguments with Israel that I've seen are mainly that it's the most liberal out of all, and I don't mean liberal in like the American sense. I mean it in like the Western sense, out of everything over there in the Middle East, not counting the Kurds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I would agree with that. Like I would rather live in Israel than live in Pakistan or Saudi Arabia.
No.
I'd also rather live in America than some of these other countries too. but it doesn't excuse what the American government is doing to these people in these countries. So it's not an indictment of the culture of Israel or even the people of Israel. It's the government of Israel and what they're doing to the Palestinians. And the reason we do have a bone to pick is because they get the most foreign aid out of any country. And we stand with them with whatever they do. We always have their back, and they don't have our best interests in mind. So it's not like we're giving $4 billion a year to Hamas. It's just not the same thing. So that's why I consider it I don't talk about the Cuban government that much, because the Cuban government is in opposition to the United States. We're not funding what they're doing to their own citizens, or just pick any country. But Israel and Saudi Arabia are pretty explicit examples of us funding terrorism, funding, ethnic cleansing. So it's something that I think we should speak up about more.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I'm on Reed's side here. Even back in
gosh, yeah.
Well, no, I've always been pro free Palestine, that sort of thing, because the Israeli government makes it difficult to work out a two-state solution. There's no possible way to work out a two-state solution anymore. You always hear about these UN but not bills, whatever they call them at the UN, to try and work out a two-state solution between Palestine and Israel. But Israel has woven roads that only Israelis can use into Palestinian territory, right? So people are building houses, which is the territory of Israeli territory houses within Palestine. It's like now you just have these blobs of Israel within where Palestine should be. And meanwhile, the U.S. is like, we don't recognize Palestine. We don't recognize you as a country. So there's no possible way I could see a two-state solution right now, and it's because of the Israeli government.
Okay, so I have to preface with my entire knowledge of the conflict comes from the end of season 5 of The West Wing.
Jesus Christ, dude! You're usually one of the more knowledgeable people on this show, and then here we go.
I was preparing for other topics. Jeez.
Well, say again, Reed.
I said, we know which one of you guys doesn't watch my show at all now. No, I'm just kidding.
For sure, dude. For sure.
Sorry, I watched Karen and Harlos.
All right, respect.
I watched the Fakertarians too.
Oh my God! Respect lost.
Negative karma
what
gain.
I was gonna say.
What are you gonna say about Hollywood? What does Hollywood have to do with this?
Something about Israel, Palestine, the West Wing.
Epstein, is this related to Epstein somehow? Or?
Epstein.
He totally lost the plot.
He didn't kill himself. I know that.
Only in the name. Only in the name.
You're not even drinking.
Hey, but I'm holding off on the clips that we have ready because Duke says he's on his way, and if he's going to chime in the middle, I want to get it going when he's here. But one of the stories that I don't have pulled up, and I don't have a lot of information on, what is this deal with AOC and the Iron Dome?
So she, this is one of the things she always talks about, the Israeli-Palestine conflict, but she never votes on one clear side. Like, she voted to fund Israel 3 or 4 months ago after complaining about what was going on in Gaza. And with the Iron Dome legislation, I think it was $1 billion going toward the Iron Dome. And for those who don't know, the Iron Dome is Israel's missile defense system, where they're really taking out like glorified potato guns that are shooting at them. They're not really missiles, but it passed pretty unanimously. Only Thomas Massey voted against it in the Republican side, and then like 6 Democrats, I think, voted against it. And AOC voted no, but then before the vote was tallied, she changed her vote to present.
Now, is present like a abstention, or is it like a yes?
Yeah.
What it is like what it usually signifies is if you don't really agree with what your party is doing. So you'll just vote present to kind of give them the middle finger. That's usually what it's for. But she voted no and then voted present. And then as soon as the vote was tallied and it was obvious that it passed, she started crying in front of the camera, acting like, oh, this is so horrible. How could this happen? And so, this is just AOC. It's what she does.
Yeah. She's setting up. I this is something that I actually do know a little bit more about. She's
All of a
setting up
sudden, you're
to.
paying attention. All right, let's go.
She's setting up to primary Chuck Schumer. That's what's happening.
You
Chuck
think
has
so?
been asking. Yeah, Chuck has been asking Biden to do a bunch of progressive things. He's been, very much more progressive this cycle, last cycle, compared to prior years, because he knows he needs to pick up his slack or he's gonna get primaried. AOC is going to be 35 or 36 this upcoming for the upcoming Senate election. And
So you think this is all like it's a maneuvering so that she can take his seat? Or
AOC, I give it to her. Generally, if she says, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this," she'll at least vote that way, even if she knows it's some DOA bill, some shit
totally
like that.
disagrees.
And that's for the things that she really shouts about. It'll just be one stupid, crazy bill. I can't actually credit her with, oh, she actually votes her conscience, or she votes. That's just not true.
She like
cutting you here. Reed, jump in and tell him why he's wrong.
She never votes on anything except for extremely safe legislation. Like one of the number one things that she joined Congress to push for was Medicare for all, and this whole like big push for force the vote. She didn't do anything, and she voted for. I think she ended up voting for Nancy Pelosi. That was the whole idea. Like we will not vote for Nancy Pelosi until she brings a vote for Medicare for all to the House floor, and AOC did nothing. She also like grandstanded about how she was going to vote against that ridiculous COVID relief bill right before Christmas that gave like us nothing and a ton to foreign countries and the military or whatever. She grandstanded about how horrible it was, and then she voted yes on it. And I guess this is just banking on the fact that most people don't go look and see how people vote. They only see the speeches on TV, so they'll think, oh, AOC is doing what I want her to do. But what her donors want her to do is completely different. And that's how she always votes. I mean, she's terrible. She like pretty much never votes her conscience, like ever. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's almost, I mean, she's such a fake.
Yeah.
Could it be like a balancing it? Okay, I see Ralph was saying something in the comment. Okay, Ralph wants us to get talking about like Sasquatch or stuff. That's later. Like once we start getting drunk, we will start talking about just
back to
off the wall shit. But like, do you think with the AOC thing, it could be something like a balancing act? Like, okay, I got an amendment here because on this new bill, right? There are via a Politico article that Tim might share later on the show. There are like 437 already approved amendments. I don't know if they got approved and voted on with the bill, like as a complete bill, but there were like 437 of them. And I'm going through them on a PDF file, and it's just hell just even going through them. Honestly, this is one of the things that if I was president, I would be like, hey, one topic only, please. Has to relate specifically to that topic.
Yeah, well, you know how we get pissed at Rand Paul sometimes for being kind of squeamish? She's just that, and without exaggeration, times 10. Like, I mean, if we were progressives, we would have no patience for her because she just, like, Rand Paul will fuck up, like, maybe 1 out of 10 things, and we give him all sorts of hell. She does it, like, 9 times out of 10, and I mean, I don't think there's a sincere bone in her body. And I don't know if there was on day one either. I don't know if she sold out or if that was just always the plan. She just always wanted to be a rock star, but she's worthless.
It's almost, it reminds me, there's
McAllister.
There's this one time in the LNC where a member grandstanded for like 10 minutes about how he's going to vote one way and then 2 minutes later changed his vote the other because he realized he was going to be the decider.
Yeah.
It's like have some balls.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mitch.
You fucking got my thought up. But no, part of me wonders with AOC if she's just sort of like a pressure release valve for the establishment.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
We had this problem with Bernie. We get her in, kind of have her act as like the release valve.
Well, I think the same thing about Bernie. Bernie's also fucking fake. Like,
I mean, if he was real, you
guys are sounding a lot like Jimmy Dore right now. Not progressive enough for me.
Right. I mean, I guess Kucinich is the last like really principled progressive they had, and then like Mike Gravel. but he's been gone for a while. But I mean, you haven't had someone who's like a true leftist who like actually sticks to his principles in a while.
Yeah, the closest thing I think that's currently in who's like a semi-principled progressive is fucking Ed Markey, but no one's heard of him because he didn't run
he's
for
not
president.
that good either.
He didn't run for president. That's why.
No one cares. No
one cares.
No one knows who that is. I mean, even in the media, like, I mean, maybe Jon Stewart, and like you go back to like Christopher Hitchens in the like Christopher Hitchens was awesome as a leftist, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you know about whoever the fuck you just said, you know about Christopher Hitchens and Jon Stewart, Mara. Don't play dumb with me with your 34 drinks that you have to drink at some point this
saw
year.
him on TikTok. That's why I know him.
Oh, I'm on TikTok. I don't even want to see your TikTok feed, dude. That's probably atrocious.
Ed Markey's TikTok is, it's pretty bad.
Have you guys noticed that? I mean, there's just a complete disconnect in language over what a leftist is when you're talking to someone who's on the left versus a libertarian, because a lot of libertarians consider anyone who's not libertarian a leftist, and then the leftists have the same approach to anyone who's not whatever they view as a perfect leftist, then they're a neoliberal right winger. So to them, a lot of them say AOC is right wing, like because she's a sellout, because she's voting for corporate bills.
The progressives, you mean?
Yeah. They'll say she's a right winger, where we will call Mitt Romney a left winger, and they'll be like, "What are you talking about? That's ridiculous."
Yeah.
I think it's a funny separation in language there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a problem, though. Like, I that's why I kind of try to differentiate myself and trying to analyze people or their views and everything like that. Because I noticed that early on in libertarianism, is you do have that sort of subset of people who like anything right of anything left of this isn't as absolute statism.
Yeah.
Like I do think that's a problem, especially when you get into some of the dynamics of like, we talked about this kind of with Nick Ashley some time ago too, where it was like, you get into Michael Bakunin, and granted he wasn't like right wing.
What you call me?
What? Bukaki, that's what I called you. But Michael Bakunin, the anarcho-collectivist, the anarchist from back in the day, who was like Marx's rival. He clearly wasn't this authoritarian leftist, but at the same time, he clearly wasn't like, the right or anything like that either. Like there are memes that these people have put out where like it shows the political compass where they just completely remove certain things.
Matt Kibbe.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. You're our guest. Please go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I saw someone tweet out today that the term crony capitalism was invented, so we wouldn't call it communism.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
I don't really agree with that. Like, I don't think crony capitalism is communism. I think that's an unfair. I mean, that's just like when they're calling crony capitalism capitalism. It's the same.
I think it's fascism, right?
Yeah.
Fascism. Yeah, that's fair.
And that's
I will team up with a leftist to hate fascism. I mean, so many people feel like that's ceding ground. It's like, no, like if you can show them that you both hate the same thing, they might actually reconsider what you have to say. Because I've seen that happen because, especially with all the blatant fascism that's going on these days, they hate it. And if you just try to tell them, oh, you're a left-wing idiot, and you don't explain to them that you actually hate the same thing they do, then they don't have any reason to listen to you or sympathize you or want to hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why that fits perfectly with what I was going to say anyway. That's why I like Matt Kibbe on Kibbe for Liberty. I think he has a site called Free the People. If you haven't checked that out, he has a video series about just totalitarianism and authoritarianism where he explains that he views the spectrum not left to right, but up to down, like top to bottom, and the higher up you go means the more government intrusion there is, and at the very bottom it's anarchy. It's complete. Hey, Duke, it's complete non-intervention in the market, right? Guys? And so that leads to we can team up with whoever we want as long as we are lower on the rung, right? The higher we get, the more intrusion we have in our lives by authoritarian powers.
Yeah, and that's maybe typically looked at as like a Lobert position, but it's kind of what I think too. Like, I mean, if somebody is a left winger, but they're not authoritarian, if they want to live their own life in their own community the way they want to, I don't see why I should care. And a lot of people tell me I should, but I don't.
No. Oh my God, boys! Beer before liquor, definitely feeling it in my liver. Okay.
Told you.
There's a motley crew of faggots in here. I'm sorry I'm so late.
Oh, you bitch! You're such a bitch, dude.
I gotta say, hold on. Before we move on, it's really nice to see old River to the Sea Reed here with us tonight, and it's a pleasure and an honor, sir.
No, thanks. It's reciprocated.
We gotta ask what you're drinking, Duke.
Duke, what are you drinking?
I'm sticking with the red can and some Mary Jane.
Hey.
Just while I have this opportunity, the national, not the national debt, my tab is up to 34 drinks. I am just loving this 50% interest rate. So next week we're gonna be in the I think 50s.
The context here is that there's a 2-drink minimum, and the hosts are held to that. And so if you miss, you pay double with interest, and interest is 1.
If you heard about the housing bubble,
which is 50%, and
housing
so
bubble.
His keeps getting higher because they don't allow alcohol on his campus, and he refuses to break the rules. So
I refuse to video myself breaking the rules and post on the internet. I'm not that.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Libertarian.
Yeah. I go to school in Utah.
Right. Yes.
He does have that on us.
He did coin the phrase "Blackwater is a private business, so they can do what they want." So
what the hell?
It's true.
That was not my quote.
Okay, I'm sorry. Never mind. I'm sorry.
I heard it on fucking the Dave Smith Nick Sarwark Soho Forum debate.
I use that as bait to get in those fucking anytime like, well, Facebook's a private company. Like,
I was trying to give you credit for something you didn't do. You are.
Thank you, Mara, for having honor.
Mitch, I thought you were gonna say
my thunder.
I thought you were gonna say that's how.
I would have taken credit, but it was Dave Smith.
Mitch, I thought you said you were gonna say that's what you used to get in women's pants, and I'm like, that's why you don't get laid. Yeah, clips. Oh no, not this clip, Oh,
why not this clip?
I haven't seen it yet.
Is the Tulsi Gabbard one?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
We have to break Reed's heart tonight.
Reed's
heart that's breaking.
Reed's already seen it, but we but
gotta just like keep
Mitch
rubbing it in.
Mitch hasn't seen it, and Robert hasn't seen it yet, so they are still simps. Oh, wait, hold up. This is impossible. This is my wife. This is impossible. We cannot do this. It is impossible. Mara cannot grow a mustache even if he tried because he does not have enough testosterone. All right, we will continue.
That's pretty much it.
That's right.
First we do the audio test. Can you hear it?
For weeks, the Biden administration.
Yes.
All right. If you want to pause, yell pause, and I will pause.
Told us that a drone strike had killed a group of ISIS-K terrorists, whatever that is, in Kabul. And there were secondary explosions that proved they were suicide bombers. But they were lying. Forced by the New York Times to admit it, they've now conceded they killed a number of innocent people, including children. Here's the interesting part. Mistakes happen. But in this case, no one in the Pentagon has been punished for this mistake or for lying about it. We thought it'd be interesting to see what Tulsi Gabbard thinks about this. She's a former member of Congress from Hawaii. She served in Iraq as a member of the Hawaii Army National Guard. She's still serving the country in the military. She joins us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on. So you get to lie. I mean, this will not shock you because you've seen it so much, but you get to lie about the loss of human life. You get caught and nothing happens to you? What kind of system is that?
I mean, this kind of accountability is critical. I want to point out first that anytime there are civilian casualties in war, it is tragic and terrible.
Yeah. This is about the end of the positive comments.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. The government said they're sorry.
You're gonna burn that cigarette into my skin, aren't you?
Yeah. The Hawaiian mommy is.
By the way, I'm gonna point out to you guys that none of this is actually gonna stick on me because I have receipts from earlier. But you just keep playing the video.
We got it.
What do you mean it's not going to stick on you?
We're not trying to get you to stick anything on you, Reed.
I'm not trying to go after you.
Look, you can stick Tulsi in your own time. We're burning her tonight.
No. Look, I think it's worth noting that the U.S. drone policy program has always killed like a significant amount of civilians. Like this is nothing new.
I mean, shit, Anwar al-Awlaki's son.
I look like a chick. Wait, I look like a chick on the couch in a movie I've seen. Well, if you were watching like some sort of porno with trans people in it, because I have a full-on beard.
All right, we are continuing.
Why does it have to be trans? Why can't it just be some gay porn, Rob?
Well, he said I'm a
What's wrong with
girl.
that?
He said I'm a chick.
Well, you can be the chick this time if you want to be.
Okay.
Women can have beards. Stop being transphobic. Let's go.
Okay.
A terrible thing, and I think it's important for the American people to understand that Islamist jihadists are continuing to wage war against us. And the Islamist ideology, not the same as the religion of Islam, but this Islamist ideology, which is a political ideology that inspired the terrorist attacks on our country on 9/11, is the greatest threat that we're facing right now in this country and the world. It is the foundation.
We're going to start there.
Real quickly, if I could just jump in.
No one yelled pause, so I'm doing it.
Let me just stop real quickly. For one, Rob's summing up my feelings right now. The problem was it started off where it's like, oh, the Islamists. Okay, you can say, I used to be an atheist, so I kind of get like talking shit about religion. Oh no, now you're calling it the greatest threat to our. No, don't go back. Fuck.
She's a Buddhist. She's not. You're better than this.
The look on Tucker's face sums it up.
Oh, she's Hindu.
If you had elected me for 4 more years, is would have been was.
She just went full George Bush.
Just look at Tucker's face, man. He sums it up.
Oh yeah, Tucker's face is like, oh shit.
Really? I'm to the left of you?
So none of this should be surprising at all, because if anyone like actually knew Tulsi really well, which I do, you could go back to like 2015 and you could see when she went on Bill Maher and she made like pretty much this exact point. She also, when Obama was president, she was upset that he wasn't calling it radical Islamic extremism, that he was just calling it, I forget what he was calling it instead, but she was upset that he wasn't designating what it was. She's always said, I'm a hawk on terror and a dove on regime change. And if you listen to her during the debates, like she would say regime change 11 times every single time she was talking. She'd be like, these regime change wars, it just sounded ridiculous because she said it so many times. There was a reason she was saying that, is because she's not opposed to the war on terrorism. She never has said that she is. So this is a really ugly interview because it's being brought into the limelight, but it's nothing new. Like people are asking what happened to her. Did she sell out suddenly? Yeah. This is literally not new at all. She's always had the position. What you have to remember is she's against fighting the war for terrorists. So she's against arming ISIS against Assad. She's against giving weapons to Al-Qaeda. She's against invading Iran. She's against the war in Yemen. So if you compared her to everyone else on the debate stage in 2020, because Bernie
still pretty good. Yeah.
Was like the next closest to being anti-war. He was like an Assad must go guy. So, Donald Trump like ramped the genocide in Yemen up to a 10. He was pretty hawkish on Iran. He was horrible in Syria for most of the time. So she was just better than everybody else, but she was never good on the war on terrorism. So a lot of people are acting like this is just some sudden twist that she's made an about face. And everyone's like, what? Where really it's just actually being brought into the limelight. I think where she really fucked up here was she could have still supported the war on terror with making most of this clip complaining about the fact that civilians got killed. But instead, she just like has this little like cliff note, like, oh yeah, it sucks the civilians died, but let me give this like really full-throated endorsement of drone strikes because they're awesome and they're great.
You're giving away the punchline. We haven't got there yet.
Oh, sorry.
He's
You're trying to get me to rage quit.
Dude.
This gets worse.
Like,
No, of course.
Saying, like, I think that's important to real. I don't know how many of you guys actually like know her really well, but like this is nothing new. It's just being put in a really ugly
Yeah,
way.
I mean,
you're
if
right.
I just,
Personally, no.
You're right.
If-
Looking
Dude,
back on it,
dude.
she said regime change a lot during her debates.
If
And,
I-
and
if
that
I
is
could
that
just-
is a good differentiate. Sorry, Mitch. I'm just saying.
If I could just
Wait.
say too, I think a lot of the shockingness could come from the fact that a lot of people got the impression when she was running this last cycle that she was the Democrat version of Ron Paul, in the sense that she had very progressive ideas, but was still going to be on the foreign policy page of like Ron Paul. And
Mute
so-
him.
By the way, Rand Paul.
I'm just saying that's how people saw it.
Yeah, the other thing is like she has the same foreign policy that Rand Paul has. A lot of people give Rand Paul slack, but Rand Paul in 2016 he said we need to declare war on ISIS, and he wanted to increase military spending to fight ISIS around the world. I also supported him in 2016 just because he was the best out of the bunch that was up there. But we haven't had like an anti-war candidate in the major parties since Dennis Kucinich and Ron Paul. Like they were the last ones who were against war in general. They talked about like Tulsi and Rand Paul. They never talked about blowback at all. They just talked about how we need to stop toppling dictators in the Middle East because that leads to unrest. None of them ever suggested that we should end the war on terrorism. That hasn't happened since Ron Paul, Dennis Kucinich.
I do slightly disagree with you on that. Sorry, Tim. I know you're trying to play the clip, but
I'm trying to get to Duke. He's been waiting patiently, but go.
No,
ahead.
let Rob make his point because he's clearly onto something.
So I think every president who has won has ran on the populist message of anti-war, right? Like Trump said, we need to withdraw all our troops from Afghanistan, this and that. Obama said hope and change and peace, this kind of deal. He ran on anti-war messaging. Even before him, George Bush ran on anti-war messaging. They just happened to not do it, right?
Because they're all full of shit. They're
they're all full of shit. So they just don't do it, but they do run on it. So anti-war is a popular message. It's a populist message, and we just need to keep pushing it.
Yeah,
Duke, sorry, Duke.
What are you disagreeing with? Or
I don't think he's I don't know what he's disagreeing with.
I don't think I was disagreeing. I think you said
I said you disagree.
You said you had to disagree, dude.
Right, yeah, well,
You're
I think
not a real libertarian. Only I am.
No, I'm not saying that. Obviously, I'm not saying that. Reed is a trucker and a real
What does that
libertarian.
mean? Uneducated? There's more truckers than you on this podcast.
He
boy.
listens to
Robert.
at least
Robert.
10 libertarian podcasts a day. I know so.
Robert.
No,
How
wait.
do you know?
No, wait.
Robert,
I said
Stop.
I disagree.
You're digging the hole. You're digging your hole, dude. You're digging it deep, dude.
Hang on.
Stop.
Yeah, I really want to hear this from Duke.
Hang on. I know. Hang on. He said that the last presidents have not been anti-war, and that's what I disagree with. I think they ran on anti-war messaging.
There's a difference between rhetoric and policy.
Mhm.
I said the last candidates who were truly anti-war, meaning like against
Truly.
the war on terrorism too,
Truly. Okay, I got you.
were Dennis Kucinich and Ron Paul, Mike Gravel. Like you haven't seen a lot of people give Rand Paul a pass. They think like, oh, he just wasn't as good as his dad. But it's like, well, no, he wasn't even saying the same thing. He was against arming the rebels in Syria and against, going into Yemen, but he was not against fighting ISIS. Like he straight up said he wanted to declare war on ISIS in his 2016.
So my bad. I don't disagree with you. I think that every candidate
right all along.
runs on the anti-war messaging just to get those votes. Kind of deal.
Yeah, but it's like a general peace message, like George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and even like Biden with the war in Yemen. He made it sound like he was going to end it. It looked like he was going to when he first became president, and then just didn't do anything about it. But
Do you even remember what you were going to say?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
I have no fucking clue what I was going to say.
Damn, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Let's move on. I'll survive.
You'll get first stab at the punchline. Here we go.
Inspire the terrorist attacks on our country on 9/11 is the greatest threat that we're facing right now in this country and the world. It is the foundation of governance of so-called Islamic countries like Turkey and Iran and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. And it's what's behind the discriminatory policies that they have in these countries against Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, atheists, and others. So as long as these Islamist jihadists are waging war against us, we have to work to defeat them militarily and ideologically. And militarily, we have two choices in how we do that. Number one, we can continue to invade and occupy and nation-building countries around the world, just as we did in Afghanistan, at great cost. Number two, we can take a targeted approach using airstrikes, using our special forces to go in and go after these terrorist cells.
So that exactly illustrates my point. She's against regime change wars. She's not against war. That's why she said it 11 times in every segment of the debate. It was always regime change war, toppling secular dictators. But like that's what she was against, which put her ahead of everybody else. But like in a pure sense, still not great.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like this is the craziest thing to me. Like everybody looked at her as the anti-war candidate, the most, I don't know, most libertarian. Yeah, comparatively to everybody else.
She was.
And
that's the thing. Like she's the most anti-war candidate, and I would argue in 2020 she was the most libertarian, even though she wasn't a libertarian. Like I'd say more than Trump. Like, it was bad things,
But even still, the only two options she has
more than Joe Jorgensen for sure.
We'll get there.
Joe Jorgensen's way better on war than Tulsi. She just has no idea what she's talking about.
Right. But that's what's disappointing to me. It's like, the left used to be so anti-war, yet the only two options that exist in her mind are put troops there and leave them there forever, or drone strike the shit out of people, because these people, these Islamic terrorists, they're just at war with us, and we have no choice but to fight them. Maybe if we stop bombing them,
The left was anti-Bush. The left was never anti-war. Like not the majority.
No.
Yeah.
Democrats started World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, the war in Syria. Like pretty much everything except Iraq and Afghanistan for the last 50, 60 years. Like they've started every single war. So
the entire century, other than all of the 20th century was all democratic wars.
Yeah.
So all they did was switch for one election cycle, and that's all they did. And now all of a sudden you have the whole propaganda is the right is the pro-war side. They're the not the working class side and everything like that.
Yeah, how is Harry Truman anti-war, or
no
FDR, or Bill Clinton, or like any of these guys? Like none of them were ever.
I mean, Bill Clinton was bombing Saddam the entire time, wasn't he?
Eric, you guys want to take a stab at this? I think the answer is pretty obvious, but somebody else.
I mean, what can we say?
So where do you all stand? Non-intervention, or I can't read in the way. Non-intervention or isolation?
Fuck them all to death.
Well, what is the difference between non-intervention and isolation? Because
isolation is like you're on an island and we don't talk to you at all, and non-intervention is like we don't fuck with your shit.
So
that's basically.
I think the word globalist has like positive and negative connotations. Like I think trade-wise, we should be globalist. Like we should be trying to trade with every country we can. We should have relations with every country we can.
Yeah,
it's like so. I'm not an isolationist in that sense. Like I don't think we should stop trading, stop talking, seclude ourselves. But the idea that the only way we can relate to other countries is by bombing the shit out of them is just,
right. Yeah. Yep.
It sucks.
All right. Well, I don't know if she says any more damning shit in here, but I could be surprised.
The reality is that the cost to the American people, the cost to our troops, the cost to civilians will be far less if we take this very targeted approach to go after these jihadist terrorist cells than if we continue making the very same mistake.
I'm sorry. I just disagree. Like,
yeah, I mean. The problem is she's talking in circles, and she could frame this a lot better to get her point across. I'm just saying this, not even trying to defend her perspective, but just in regards to selling your ideas.
I want to hear what Tucker says back to her.
He laughs.
Yeah,
I mean, just the look.
If I were her trying to sell this point, I would have just like the cliff note would have been, hey, drone strikes are less harmful than toppling dictators.
Leave it there.
And talk for the rest of the time about how bad it is that children died and we need to be more accountable or whatever. But she like does the opposite. That's just like a cliff note, like, oh yeah, it's bad these people died. But let me talk for 2 minutes about how important it is that we keep drone striking everybody. So it was just a really poor execution.
And I was half memeing when I said, like, I totally disagree with her point, because she says that, drone striking people would cause less civilian casualties or something like that. And, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you were talking about blowback earlier, and, us bombing the shit out of them, that's going to inspire more terrorist attacks here. So, no, it doesn't prevent civilian casualties. That getting the fuck out of their business would prevent civilian casualties.
Well, the irony is we're talking specifically about a drone strike that killed 11 civilians, 7 of them children, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the specific example that Tucker brought up, and then her defense is like, drone strikes don't kill civilians very often. That's like, what is it, 90% or 90% kill civilians, right?
90%.
Yeah, and like, maybe if you would have had troops on the ground, you would have been like, oh shit, that's an aid worker and some kids and not some munitions.
So, actually, another great part where you see that this is what she believes is like right after she dropped out and endorsed Biden, she went on Jimmy Dore's show. I don't know if any of you guys saw that segment. And she ended up like saying that there are, because Jimmy asked her about recruiters going to high schools and trying to recruit kids who have no other way, and how he tries to convince them otherwise. And he asked her what she thought. And she said, well, I don't believe that. I think that the military is very important and that people should join and that we have missions that are worthy of our sacrifice. And he was like, what missions are worthy of our sacrifice? And she said, well, fighting terrorism around the world. So, like, this isn't anything new. This has been on display the whole time. It's just, like, never been this blatant and obvious to anybody, I don't think.
This breaks my heart. It truly does. I thought she was truly the best anti-war person on the left. And maybe she still is. She
probably is. Like, she's better than anyone else who's still in Congress. Like, I can't think of someone who's more, on the left who's more anti-war than she is.
No longer attracted to her. No longer attracted.
Yeah, you are. Don't lie.
No, I still am. I still am.
Go ahead, Josh.
It's just
What's
not
going on, man?
philosophical anymore.
Hey, Josh.
Not much. No, hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. You're a fucking co-host
every week. Well, you could have just like not accepted me in the room. I don't know.
Josh,
takeover of the show. I don't know, man. I'm running a little late. Maybe you guys are like, fuck this guy.
What are you drinking, Josh?
You got any drinks?
Yeah, I'm going
also,
back to the well again. Another private stock night.
So, just letting you know, a new initiative was passed through Congress. It's student loan debt. So, basically, we're going to take 5 drinks off of my tab, and all of you are going to drink.
No, we're not.
Nice try. Nice try. I tried to sneak that shit in.
I was just trying to get Josh. Y'all didn't.
I'm not paying my fair share or whatever the fuck you're looking for.
No, it's not a fair share. You're helping me with my student loans because
that's tragic.
I caused the problem, and you're going to fix it.
No. What you do is you drink those drinks, Mara, and you pay your debts.
You're responsible for your debts, sir. You should have thought about
that. I'm ahead 1,000, baby. I have no incentive to pay this back.
Yeah, right. You and about 50 million other people in this country.
All right, so
move along.
So we were talking a little bit about this before the show, but recently the NDAA has passed, and in it, as usual, they crammed in a whole bunch of other shit. So,
red flag.
Oh my God, is that flashing for you guys?
Yeah. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, that hurt.
No
that hurt.
Okay, it's working now. It's working now.
You okay, Joey? You okay, Leighton? All you guys in the chat, you don't have epilepsy. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the YouTube
we're gonna
feed.
find out.
I'm looking at the YouTube feed. It is bad. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so like the major thing in here that everybody's glomming onto is the House votes to make your daughters eligible for the military draft. So that's one of the things that they snuck in here. Something else, there were some good things. We were talking about it earlier. For Yemen example, this is off of antiwar.com. Go follow Scott Horton and see all his great work. An amendment to end all U.S. support for Saudi-led coalition in Yemen, sponsored by Ro Khanna, was approved, 219 to 207, very close vote. Another amendment to limit the servicing of Saudi warplanes by Representative Meeks was approved. Yada yada. So there is some positive stuff in this bill. But
Lauren Boebert voted yes, like for that amendment. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't really sure how she was going to vote
for the Saudi thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for
Gates and a few other people did.
Yeah, and MTG, but who, by the way, like I think she's an absolute moron, but I love her. Like I just love the chaos that she brings.
Her yelling at them on the steps of the Congress today, it was beautiful.
Let's see who this really is. Pulls off the mask. The Green New Deal is actually just fucking communism. That's in the House. That's in the public record forever.
It's amazing. Like, there's no wonder the aliens have not invaded us. They're just like, these guys are too entertaining. We just want to sit back and watch and see what they do.
Right. Yeah. Television show, man.
No. Yeah. So the drafting. I don't know. Women finally have equal rights. They get drafted just like the rest of us.
Well, you have a daughter. You have a daughter.
Right? Feminism.
I have a daughter and a wife. Yes.
So well, okay. Well, I forgot about the wife, but yeah. I guess
let me ask you this question. I know Duke served military previously, and Josh served military previously, but I never signed up for the draft. Did any of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did when you got your license.
Yeah.
So they did it without my knowledge.
No, it's on the paperwork. You just didn't read the fine print.
I don't read shit. So
so there you go.
It wasn't on my license, but to get financial aid for college, you had to send proof that you're registered for the draft.
This is my last year that I'm eligible. If I make it through this whole year, then I can't get drafted anymore.
Wait, how old is it? What's the cutoff?
I think just 28. You can't
28.
Yeah, 28.
Oh, dude, I'm fucking great then. I'm 30.
Yeah, I'm out.
No, but just show them the picture of you and Clint from the thumbnail, and then they'll be like, "You're not allowed, dude. We can't have."
No,
this.
dude, that's a
surprised.
bygone era.
That was
bygone era.
ago. I'm sorry.
This is the kind
doesn't
of
work
shit
anymore.
where
It's a way to
military.
get out.
When I first got in,
That's
it was
gone.
when they first passed, when the Supreme Court decision came out, and so they would give, or actually, it was right before the Supreme Court decision came out. They would allow gay couples leave specifically to go to a state that it was legal in to get married and come back. And we would always joke, it's like, hey, we could go get gay married and get free 2 weeks of leave and then get housing off base and just live together and chill. It would have been great.
Totally.
I like how you said gay married.
Well, no, regular married. If you're regular married, you didn't get that 2 weeks off to go to another state. You just had to go to the courthouse and be fucked.
Right,
And
but you
then,
didn't say two
you know.
gay people got. You didn't say two gay people got married. You said two gay people got gay married, which is pretty funny.
It is gay married. I mean, you're married to a guy. It's pretty gay. So
Technically, the laws are written in such a weird way. Technically, the laws are written in such a weird way that technically a guy and a girl can get gay married in certain cases.
Well,
Jack
Mr.
and Poe
Trump,
did that.
No, I know that because one of the people I'm
gay?
trying to get on this show has done exactly that.
Are you gay married to your girlfriend?
just
Sam?
because it's
Sam,
this
are you
world.
and your
I
wife
don't.
gay?
I'm not against gay married. It's just what they are.
we got to
It's
give the disclaimer before
they.
Fingertarians does a
It's
whole
just-
episode on
Well, it's
the
just
homophobic
it's so
swamp creatures.
I'm sorry.
But real quick,
I'm Florida. I'm a Florida man, born and bred. I can't help myself. You know.
You're making me
We can see
turn
the
way
palm
more
tree in the
red than I
background.
wanted to this whole podcast.
You can't
Well,
help.
get fucking ready. I'm slamming these beers.
One of the things that they did sneak into this NDAA to kind of put a downer on this whole gay thing is
Yay.
it's not very gay.
lawmakers.
In the actual definition sense too.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're not
and
making me very
it's not
gay
festive.
right now, Tim.
It's not very festive.
This was written right before they voted to pass this, so this did pass. But lawmakers will consider an amendment for calling an annual report on how foreign terrorist organizations using social media to recruit, fundraise, and spread information. It will also address the threat to online radicalization poses to U.S. national security. So yeah, we're all fucked.
Can I translate
guys,
real fast? That sounds like. That just sounds like, oh god, the Taliban is posting memes on Twitter. We need to ban them.
Yeah, that's exactly
what
it means, Mara.
Like.
That's what it exactly means, Mara. No, it means we're all on lists, but we're all already on lists. I mean, I know Josh and I are.
I started going really.
They got our blood.
I started going really hard in the paint on Twitter like 3 months ago, and it's because I was talking to who was it? I was talking to Carrie Wedler, who used to have the anti-media page that had like over 2 million followers, and then it was just gone in one night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just like, well, that could just happen to me. Well, fuck it then. I'm just gonna like post like every day is my last day on Twitter, and I've just done that for like the last 3 months, and I'm somehow still above water. I don't really know how, but I haven't even gotten a 12-hour timeout with all the stuff I've posted. I don't know how.
Really?
But
yeah.
Rich out here getting permabanned every 2 weeks, and Reed's out here just posting.
He and Reed are in the same club. So somehow we've just scathed on by.
I mean, Reed's a lot. He's pretty clever.
You know what
way
it is?
He puts things, but Rich just goes like, he just says whatever is on his fucking mind straight to the person, and just no matter what the fuck it is.
He's just complete scorched earth. Just fuck you and everything you stand for.
Can you imagine Rich putting like an hour's thought into a tweet? He'd be like, nah, fuck it, I'm just sending it. I'm just gonna send this shit.
He's got, what, 5 bans already? On 5 different accounts?
5.
And he has not changed his tactics one bit.
Principle.
He's like, there's
emails.
I can make as many emails as I want.
I'm amazed by the
gives them out for free. Fuck with me.
I'm amazed by the people who still follow me, because after I make all these tweets, so sometimes I'll be like, I wonder if Nick Gillespie is still following me, and then I'll go look. I'm like, yeah, he is. Okay, whatever.
All right.
And he'll retweet something I say like a couple weeks later. I'm like, okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah,
must have went over well.
I mean, you're a charming fellow.
I think,
like you said, you are the sex symbol of the Liberty movement.
Seminole. The sex seminole.
I think.
Look at the hair, though. It's the hair. It's the stash.
Yeah.
I mean, you got them all creaming for you, Reed.
I think that you're propped up by an operation such as Reason, and you haven't been banned for all the outrageous shit you post, especially all the anti-Semitic posts we put up recently. My only explanation is that you are a Fed.
We hate Jews. We hate Jews.
All right, here we go. Rob's going.
Rob, see you later.
You guys, Josh and Duke missed the beginning of this podcast.
Yes.
No, I was watching it in the car on the ride home. Literally, side note, after you did that, Reed, I was at a restaurant 2 days ago, and this super old guy came pulling in, and he literally had the little tiny mustache and the hair like this. And I'm like, that guy couldn't have been, that guy couldn't have been real. He goes and parks, and then his wife running in front of him into the restaurant and him walking slowly. This motherfucker has that, and he's wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt.
Did he have his hand in his belt like this and like his other arm behind his back, or like
No, he wasn't doing that. He was kind of like meandering along, but he had the total non-ironic Hitler mustache and the like most ridiculous side part you have ever seen in your life.
So here's what's problematic for me is I did World War II reenacting like in late high school and right after that.
You do have that Quran, so
did you play the part of the black slave?
I was actually on the History Channel on June 6th, 2014, because it was the 70th anniversary of D-Day. So we did this shoot in Maine on the beach I think it was in March. So because they were shooting it all, ahead of time, so they'd have it ready for June 6th or whatever. But I would reenact both on the American side and on the German side. So there's some pictures out there that are eventually going to surface at some point, and I'm going to have to.
I'm looking for them right now.
I'm just trying to
get ahead of it. It's like it was totally a reenactment. They made me play the Nazis.
My friend.
Yeah, it was D-Day. Well, why are you guys all in like Allgemeine SS uniforms? I don't know. Like it was D-Day. Like
you just didn't want to get wet. That's what it was. You know.
Yeah. It was. I had a choice. I could be the bunker bitch, or I could be the swamp bitch.
I'd rather not be making amphibious moves. I'd rather be sitting in the bunker with mine tea.
Mine tea.
Mine machine gun.
Hey, so Robert, before we get off the NDAA thing too far, did you find any other stuff in the docs.gov website that sucks so much to read?
I found like one thing, but like
the resident lawyer, make him redo the reading.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like I converted it to a PDF and just highlight because I only got to like line item 130, and there, like I said, there are 437 around.
No, there were 437 that passed. There were 860 amendments.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I found one, number 72, and it says the status said made in order. So whether that means it passed with it or it's just they're thinking about it, I don't know. But number 72 by Representative Talib, it says clarifies that surveys on diversity, equity, and inclusion and annual reports on sexual assaults and racial and ethnic demographics in the military justice system must address Islamophobia.
So they're going to do like...
I do want to point out that I do think like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, I do think they actually hate Jews. That's why they hate Israel. Like I think...
Ilhan Omar especially.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, it's... And if it's not like a blatant hatred of Jews, it's sort of like what Tulsi was saying about Muslims there, like the same idea, just like this general distaste for that culture.
Well, they've got they've got the other side's perspective. Like we've got Israel's perspective, the other side, they just happen to be in Congress.
Yeah, and here's another one that I kind of raised an eyebrow to. It said made in order. It says reauthorizes the Independent and Bipartisan Wartime Contracting Commission to conduct oversight of U.S. contracting and reconstruction efforts in Afghanistan, Iraq, and other areas of contingency operations. Other areas of contingency operations being the key phrase there, because we are leaving Afghanistan, hopefully, but it also allows us to oversee any construction going on in Afghanistan and Iraq. So.
You didn't think we were leaving, did you?
No. Yeah, we're never leaving. Of course not. We're still in fucking Korea. Man. We're never leaving.
No. You know, we might just pretend for a little while.
We're still in Germany and
we still got contractors over there. You're still going to have dark motherfuckers over there doing spooky things. It's never going to be done.
With that being said, these are just the titles of these amendments. Like, we haven't dug deep into the actual amendments to the bill.
This is like the whole private versus state thing that argument going on. It's like, are we in a country or are we not in a country? It's sort of the same like gray area. Like, are we really there? Are we not there anymore? I don't know.
Did we really fund that lab? I don't know. Did we really do this? Did we really do that?
It's all gray. Like
it is. Money is fungible. You can do whatever you want once you cut the check.
I don't know how many of you guys.
It's out of my hands.
If you want to get into conspiracy talk, I don't know how many of you guys listen to Kill Tony.
Conspiracy.
That podcast. Tony Hinchcliffe, he's a comedian in Austin, Texas, with like Joe Rogan and all them. And he had Alex Jones on his podcast 2 days ago. Alex Jones put out into the world that the coronavirus was made in the lab in North Carolina and then shipped to the Wuhan lab. Alex Jones put that into the universe.
I mean, wouldn't shock me.
I mean, when hasn't he been wrong?
Yeah, he's been batting 1,000 this year. I don't know. I can't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm scared.
Can't say he's lying. I mean,
well,
you know what else is?
I'm going to take the unpopular position there. I'm not. I think Alex Jones. This is going to be really controversial the way I say this. You know how the Bible predicts the end times? It says like there will be wars and rumors of wars, and there will be like natural disasters and all that. It's like so easy to apply to any time in history. I think Alex Jones is sort of the same way. Like he just says all this crazy shit, and he says so much, and then some of it will come true, and everyone will be like, "Oh my god!" Like he just knew this was going to happen. It's like
that's true with his like super like out there predictions, but on like smaller levels, he said like he'll say a lot of different things. Like if you watch him on Tim Pool or Joe Rogan, he'll say like 3 or 4 like semi crazy things that is like, that can't be real. And he pulls up, he's like, oh yeah, that's actually happening. Like this is that, like the human hybrids or the fucking the clone beef or things like that. Yeah. Like he kind of has his pulse on that, but then he'll say something about, you know, the interdimensional aliens are trying to trick the elites or have them sacrifice the blood of children and have sex with each other. I want to get
Alex Jones on the Four Horsemen. That would be the most amazing show ever. But he and Ryan Dawson absolutely fucking hate each other. So I don't know if I can make it happen. But
one of them might just have to sit out.
And I'm sorry.
As in Ryan, no.
I think he was talking about. I think Joey was talking about of the apocalypse, like Four Horsemen of the actual apocalypse.
No,
I can't imagine Ryan.
I know.
Alex would actually agree to come on. Like, oh man, that would be so.
You need at least 1 million subs. Dude. Like he's big time in you, dude.
He's a major name.
Yeah. No,
I mean, but like he said, I'm kind of retarded, so like he might do it.
I mean, the thing with Alex Jones is he has made bad predictions before, and he kind of talked about this recently when I saw him on Tim Pool, where it was that he would always just jump at whatever 4chan had going on as far as news-wise and see what stuck. You know, that's kind of where you got the Sandy Hook thing. But also, the one that I really stands out to me the most was back in like 2011, 2012. He released this video of him like, we're going to war with Iran within 3 weeks. And that just never happened.
Well, I'm kind of glad that one didn't happen.
I'm glad I didn't. Glad I didn't either.
I think it's a game. Like I don't think he really believes everything he's saying. I think he's hyping it up. It's a character now. So, where I think like 20 years ago, it wasn't a character. Like I think there was a time where he was like 100% sincere, and then he just became sort of a meme. So he ran with it.
If you look at his divorce proceedings, like if you read some of the stuff that they put out, the lawyers were trying to say he's a performance artist. He doesn't believe this stuff. It's just his character that he plays. And then he actually torpedoed his own case and said, no, I actually believe these things that I say. So I don't know if he's that committed to the bit or maybe he is just that batshit.
I think you guys are close. I think it's the other way around. He started off like being more of a character, and at some point he became the character. I mean, that just happens with a lot of.
He became a mark for himself.
If you watch this stuff from the 90s, it's not insane. Like it's
no.
He sounds like Scott Horton almost, like when he's talking about police brutality and like the police state being built up. And he even used to talk about Israel and its, control over our foreign policy and everything. He doesn't do that anymore. But like it just seems like after 9/11, he just off the rails. And maybe it was sincere, maybe it just drove him nuts, or I think it's just like there's such a market for craziness after 9/11 that I think
he just found his niche. He was already into conspiracy theories, might as well lean into it.
One thing since
be yourself at 11.
Since I brought up
wrestling adage.
Since I brought up that Kill Tony podcast, when they introduced Alex Jones, they brought him on as a quote unquote libertarian, and I just want to put out there, I don't necessarily believe that he runs in he does not run in libertarian circles. Obviously, we all know who he is and stuff like that, but he is not like a libertarian, right? I wish Alex Jones would get more involved with us and kind of lean towards our ideas, right?
Yeah.
He was,
but he's not.
Years ago, 25 years ago, he basically was a libertarian.
When he was like, "Let me into Bilderberg. You guys are playing the whole world. World playing there." Yeah.
I do think we have more in common with him than say Antifa. And at the same time,
what a low bar.
Yeah, you're
batting low. I know.
High bar, high bar to cross there, Mitch.
We have more entire point to make on that. And
a little fucking Mario hop over the block.
But no. Honestly though, I still think he's pretty fairly libertarian just from everything I've seen. I would probably consider him in this weird somewhere between.
Oh, that's a shot, Joey. I'm sorry.
Wow, that's shot fired. That was a good dude, and you were on good terms with him, so I'm going to just keep going. But
fuck him, he ain't shit. I'll say that. Fucking pull string muppet. Come see me in person.
I want to have it. I want to go have a drink with
He
him
knows
on
we
PCB.
exist.
I want to.
Oh, I know he does.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
He
we
runs
talked
from us
about
every
this.
time he sees
All
us
right.
though, because he's a fucking giant one of these.
Damn, Josh.
All right,
Yeah.
Josh is going ham. So,
letting yourself be known.
Josh,
No,
Josh
I
is
have
going
no.
ham.
I got no chill for him. I ain't
All
gonna
right.
say his name. Fuck him. I ain't giving him that kind of publicity.
Damn.
All right, so Reed, let me ask you
Yep.
this, because you recently joined the Mises Caucus a couple months ago, like we said earlier. So
Yep.
why did you do that why did you do that instead of doing the Tho Bishop thing? What made you make that decision?
Because you were a nice little neocon before.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That was a while ago. Like that was 7 years ago now.
But it was
We all make more
familiar.
mistakes.
but I'm basically saying, like, where do you stand on this thing, and why did you choose the MC and not go the Tho Bishop route?
So I was a Republican. I grew up as a Republican, and then I think I was until 2018. I went to vote in the midterms, and then I deregistered, went independent. And because in New Hampshire, you can vote in either primary if you're independent. So I was like, why am I still a Republican? This is dumb. I don't need to do this.
Mhm.
So then I went independent, and then I was like kind of just not involved with politics at all until Tulsi ran, and I got involved again. And then after she dropped out, I was like, okay, fine, I'll take a look at this fucking Libertarian Party thing again. Because I did vote for Gary Johnson in 2016, but wasn't overly impressed with him or the party in general. And then they didn't do anything in like 2018. So I was just, Larry Sharp was kind of big, but that was it. Other than that, like nothing really big happened. So I just never took them seriously. So then I was like, all right, I'll check them out one more time. And I thought it was an absolute mess this time too, to be honest.
fair.
Not just the presidential run, but all the congressional ones, all the down ballot races, like they weren't getting any attention. This is what I did last year. If you go back to all my episodes from 2020, they're all like Brad Barron, John Molnar, Justin O'Donnell, just like everyone who was running for office in all the states, because no one was talking about them, and they'd get like 40, 50 views. And I was just like, what the fuck? But I don't know, like I've just kind of given up on the Republican Party on a federal stage because I just think they're so far gone. Like any semblance of libertarianism they used to have has just withered away. Like there's nothing fiscally conservative about them anymore. They like to say that Trump made them more anti-war, but I don't really think that's true. Like you saw when we were leaving Afghanistan, like all the Republicans sounded like they did back in 2003 again. They're just like, we're going to have another 9/11 if we leave Afghanistan. We need to stay there.
But those were kind of the ones that were saying that
frenzy
before. They're the same ones that, they're never going to change their stripes. Like Lindsey Graham is always going to be Lindsey Graham until Lindsey Graham's gone.
Like, I'm not even talking about like people in Congress or the Senate. I'm talking about like my friends that I know who are Republicans.
Gotcha.
It's all just completely subjective. When Trump wants to leave, it's good. But as soon as somebody else does it, everything about it is terrible and it's the worst thing in the world or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
the Trump
I think it has to do. It's because Biden did it.
Well,
that's why they hate it.
It's the team. It's the team mentality, right?
Yeah,
it's got to be the team mentality.
The way I look at the Libertarian Party is like a national messaging campaign and a consolidation of the things that we actually believe in, because there's just nothing. Look at Congress right now. Who do we have? We got Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, and Mike Lee most of the time. That's 3 out of what? How many? 500.
Like 3. Yeah. I was gonna say 3. So more.
Yeah. So
Matt Gaetz is pretty anti-war.
Yeah, but he's not a libertarian. Like,
he's also
isn't. But neither are they. They're Republicans.
There's a lot of things.
Well, no. I mean, like small L libertarian. Like I consider
gotcha.
those guys close enough to being small L libertarian, but that's all we got.
The Libertarians should run someone against Matt Gaetz. Let me be clear about that. We definitely should, and you could get good numbers here in the Panhandle. Just
dude,
saying.
he's gonna primary Rubio.
So like I think Tho Bishop actually doesn't like me, but I really don't have anything against him or against like what he's doing, because I actually agree with him. If you have a local Republican who's good, then that's a better strategy than running in the Libertarian Party. Like I think the paleo strategy makes sense where it'll work. So I'm not against that. And then if you somehow have a Democrat who's great for, whatever area you live in, like, sure. I agree with Dave when he says that the Libertarian Party is just a vehicle. But I think for the future and for the meantime, like we should be building the Libertarian Party up because it exists, and it's just like a home base we can have to try to create candidates who are going to run on the things we believe in, because the Democrats and Republicans just don't represent us at all. I mean, we're talking 3 out of 538, and Tulsi was like the closest thing we've had to a libertarian in the Democrat side, and you know, she's obviously way off. So it's just like, why don't we have our own party? Like, why not? I don't think it's a dumb idea, you know, and I don't think we are going to win the presidency anytime soon or ever even necessarily, but I think it's just a good place to start. You know, it's sort of like a thought, like a think tank, and just like a messaging deal. And then, you know, hopefully something that can win some elections eventually, but we have to start somewhere. Like, we all want to jump to success, and it's not going to happen. Like, people get involved and then they do it for 6 months and they're like, fuck this, I ran into this obstruction and now I'm done with it. It's like, well, you know, it's going to take a while to have any sort of success. So the Mises caucus, originally I was just not going to join a caucus because I don't like all the infighting between the caucuses, but then what I realized is the Mises caucus is actually like the caucus that focuses on the big picture issues, which was what I had been about since the beginning. Like, they care about the wars, monetary policy, the war on drugs, and then, you know, the little minutia that we disagree on, like, we're fine, we'll disagree on it. So that's why I eventually joined them. And then with the bullshit that happened with the Libertarian Party New Hampshire and the you know, the LP like siding with stealing the party, I was like, okay, fuck you, and that was enough to get me to join the Mises Club. But
so what you're saying is unity failed.
Well, no, I think unity is the Mises caucus, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like the big picture issue caucus, you know, and I think, like, I don't think we were ever going to have the loser brigade get along with Dave. But at the end of last year, Spike Cohen, Justin Amash, and Dave Smith, like, I thought they all absolutely hated each other. But now those guys are kind of all on the same page. Like, everyone who is important and is actually doing stuff seems to be pretty much on the same page. You're always going to have the ankle biter haters, and fuck them. Like, who cares? Like, let them, you know, let them fall off to the wayside.
Yep. No, I think all that's great, man. Does anybody want to chime in there?
Rob?
Yeah. No, I just want to say, like, my only qualm with, like, Tho Bishop and how that kind of side of the argument deals with it is that the way the rhetoric is framed, it's as if we're not on the same team, and we are. We truly, really are. We're all on the Liberty team, right? But they frame it as in the Libertarian Party, not Mises Caucus, but Libertarian Party is not a viable option. There's no world in which the Libertarian Party can grow and win, and that's why we are in the opposition. That we are trying to combat that, right? We're trying to grow the Libertarian Party and be a viable option, and so. That's my only qualm with them, right? Is like, don't look down on us like we're your little fucking stepchild. And then when we beat you in one of these races, be like, oh, well, he's a one-off. Like, no, we actually have libertarian candidates who won offices here in Florida. And hopefully it keeps on growing momentum. And that's what, like, me and Josh and like all of us on this podcast try and do. But I think that's the issue. Is like, we're on the same team, but when we go to the Capitol, don't talk shit to us like we're not here supporting you and we're the only ones here supporting you. That's I'm not going to say who did it because I don't
Sabatini.
I don't want to. But see, I have a problem with that too because the optics look bad when we're trying to pull a guy like Sabatini down who is on our same team. Right, he is on our side.
Team. He wouldn't have been a fucking bitch about things.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter because the real issue is the guy is the speaker of that. Whatever the fuck his name is. I should know that, but I'm a little drunk right now. But like, he's the one that's preventing all the bills, right? He's not. He's the main issue. Sabatini doing that is not the main issue. We can let that go on social media. We don't have to call him out.
This is the difference between, like, you know, working together and taking the more Tho Bishop approach, which at least seems to be his public approach anyway, is to call us out and say that we are like, we should not exist. Like, that's the position he's taking, is that the LP shouldn't be there. And Sabatini, you know, the reason why I said his name, I agree with you. Like people that just disagree on strategy or tactics or taking a different vehicle to the same place, I agree with you. Like we shouldn't be attacking them. We're all on the same team. We're all going in the same place. But when we show up to an event, like you said, and we are the only people there supporting it, and this was
God, that makes me so mad.
We were the only people that were supporting this gun event for constitutional carry in Florida in Tallahassee. And Sabatini shows up, and Josh was there, so he can tell the story better than I can. But he basically said, all of the good people in the Liberty movement are in the Libertarian Party, and they need to come over to the GOP. And he basically shunned us. Like we offered to take a picture with him and promote it and say like, thank you for coming out. And he said, no, you guys are with the Libertarian Party, and this is the problem. So when you do shit like that, like. You're obviously not about the goals. You're about the team.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Like I just did a podcast with Dave Smith a couple weeks ago, and I called the Praxians the loser brigade of the right. And the reason I said that is because I've never gone after them, like their strategy. I don't care. Like I've never called them out and called them idiots. Like they did the opposite. Like one of those guys, Adam Patrick, I don't know if you guys know who he is. Like he came after me sideways. And I think it's just because I didn't go on his show and he was angry at me. But then like a lot of the guys started teaming up and saying shit about me. So then I was like, okay, fine. You guys are like the loser brigade of the right. And then they act like I'm the one throwing the stones. And it's like, no, I've never said anything negative about what you guys are doing or trying to detract from what you have to say. You just like came after me sideways, and I'm gonna punch back. And then I'll say stuff like in general, like I don't think trying to take over the GOP is a good idea, but that's not even really Tho Bishop. That's more like Eric Brakey. Eric Brakey is the one who's like trying to take over the GOP and have people go to Congress and everything. Like Tho Bishop's all about local reform or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It is weird. Like the hate does seem to come in our direction and it doesn't go the other way. Like they're always, I mean, if we're so insignificant and useless, then why are you talking about us all the time? Like just go do your thing.
Why do you want us to join you?
Exactly.
Yep. I mean, but I think it's all good, right? Like any effort to take over the GOP with any kind of liberty thought, that's a good move too. I wish they would work. I wish they would work with us more, right? And
it's about as realistic as the LP being significant on the net.
No, no, I agree. I agree. But like in my hippy dippy thought on libertarianism, it's like it's all love. It's all going towards the right direction, kind of deal.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean you're right. We should be able to work with people who want to take different approaches, but if you want a different approach, then people like to make you the enemy, which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I even think that like within the LP, like I disagree with some of like the Mises guys, maybe that like if someone's way to portray libertarianism is through like the woke stuff, I actually don't have anything against that if that's the way you want to go and that's the way you want to connect with people, because I think you probably can connect to some people that way. Just don't be angry when we don't do it the same way, or when we don't think that sex work is like the number one issue on the list. Like if that's your angle,
that's ignorant.
Go for it. But don't get angry if we care about, the COVID passports more than whether or not sex work is legal.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree.
No, I'm 100% for that, and that's the thing is there. Some of those people you talk to in the Mises Caucus, there's a pretty wide range. Like there are people from the California Caucus who are very different on a cultural level than myself and others. I think that's just kind of the whole live and let live thing. Just like we all do what we can to reach out to the people that we know how to reach, and I mean that's how things change.
That's what we all did at the convention. Yeah, we were reaching out to everyone.
I was reaching
inviting everyone around,
dude, and I was just grabbing dudes and
I gave Duke things around.
I gave Duke a reach around.
Well, you weren't supposed to talk about that, Robert.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask, don't tell, big boy.
No, man. Hey, so Mara said earlier that we can't talk about COVID, but guess who's not here right now? So I was looking up some other news stories that were going on related to COVID. So a daily pill to treat COVID could be just months away. Scientists say.
Yay!
Wasn't that the pill that I don't know if this is true. I just read this somewhere online that apparently that pill, one of the ingredients is ivermectin.
Oh my God, is it?
I would bet that
Please
probably
let it be
isn't true.
I don't know if it is true. I just saw it somewhere, so that's why I
Doesn't
kind
show
of
up
taken
in
the
the
time to
masturbate
research
to it every day.
Wait, I want to play a game. What other ability does that pill give you to make you take it? Like threshold. If it does this for you, you take it.
Is there a dick growth pill or something like that?
I thought about that, but I was like, no, I don't. We don't need that. There's other dick pills, but like, what does it have to do for you?
Why are you talking about dick pills? We're talking about COVID.
No, that's why I'm saying. It's like, where's this whole pill?
Fuck you.
I'll
Fuck
rephrase
you,
the
Duke. Mitch said it, not me.
I'll rephrase the question. Okay, is anybody on the screen vaccinated? No. Okay, Reed's the only one.
I am if I have to go into Publix without a mask.
All right,
Reed
so
isn't, right?
I
Or-
identify as
He said no.
vaccinated when I have.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, so the question is, what superpower or ability would you be given by the vaccine that would convince you to take it?
But it has to be like not a superpower. It has to be like
Whatever,
mundane,
like
boo.
ability.
mundane benefit from the pill.
To get the vaccine or take the pill every
Take
day?
the pill every day.
Okay, there.
So you lose this power or whatever if you stop taking the pill, basically.
For sure.
Yeah.
That makes it easier,
Mm.
honestly.
Not getting anyone pregnant.
So, yeah.
Josh, you're married, dude. Come on.
Look, I'm just saying.
I know how you roll. It's okay.
I don't know. That's a good question. I would say I hate sleeping. Sleeping is the worst. If I could just give up sleeping and not die from it, that would be great. I could be so productive. It would be awesome.
Oh, that's actually a good one.
Yeah.
We don't have to do this. I just threw it
No,
out.
I think I'd actually choose that too. If I could go without, because I don't enjoy sleeping anymore. It's just like something I have to do.
So the two truckers are like,
Fuck
Yeah,
sleep.
Long hauling, baby.
keep on moving it.
Hey, if you ain't rolling, you ain't earning. Okay.
Maybe that's the superpower. Like the ELD just fills out.
That's right.
Leighton in the comments says the power to grow your penis at will because he's a big guy with a small penis in Alaska. We get it, Leighton. We all get it.
Easy enough.
It's right, half the year you can't see it anyway because it's so dark. So you know.
Unfortunate for him, he can't see it year round.
Have you guys been to Alaska? It's great. It's like the
No,
best.
but I want to.
I actually want to go there.
Baby
Yeah.
Cakes 6669. Oh no.
Whoa.
Stay
Whoa.
away.
I'm hitting on my wife. I'll smack you.
Stay away.
No, I want to go to one of those towns in Alaska you have to get to from like the plane boats.
Yep.
Or like a snowmobile.
Leighton,
No,
Leighton,
the
Leighton
plane.
can fly
Is
him,
Big-
right?
is
Leighton, you're a
Bigfoot in
pilot,
Alaska?
right?
Oh, the most disappointing participation trophy I've ever seen is I drove all the way to the Arctic Ocean with my brother, and then he had to take this this tour through the oil field to get all the way to the coast, and there were like 4 other people on the bus, and my brother and I stripped down and ran into the water and dunked our heads and everything. The water was 27 degrees, and it was like 50 degrees out.
Nope.
Everyone else just dipped their hands in, and then the guy gave all of us certificates for plunging in the Arctic Ocean. And I would have done it again because for me, I don't want the certificate if I haven't actually done it. But it's just what the fuck? That's so gay, so gay.
They only had to put their hand in.
Hey, what does that certificate prove? Is this going to go on a resume?
So
I think I can find it actually.
I think I'm getting it right now.
I want to start doing that, doing ice bath kind of thing. It's supposed to be good for you.
Yeah, after you work out.
Yeah,
You have to
after you work
first.
out. Yeah, no, I do work out. I dropped 10 pounds this week, you motherfucker. Anyway.
Damn, what are you starving yourself?
Yeah, actually. No, I'm joking. I'm not starving myself. I am on a diet, though, and I'm drinking low-calorie bullshit. But anyway, I had to move back in with my parents.
What is this?
Let it be known.
That's a certificate right there.
That, well, that's my real first name. Reed Coverdale did an awesome job swimming in the Arctic Ocean. There it is.
Yeah, we can't see it anyway.
Dude,
so yeah.
you're fucking certified.
Yeah.
Certified polar bear.
I would forever put that
I've
on
got
a
my
resume
brothers
just for the
for
hell
some
of it.
reason too. But
What is that?
It's my brother's. I have it.
Oh,
Nice.
you have them both.
Yeah.
So if he's ever asked for his papers, he can't show them.
He could sell it as a counterfeit.
There we go.
It's like a fake vaccine passport, a fake Arctic Ocean certificate.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. Hey, so let me ask you. I haven't been to Utah in like 6 years. How bad is it over there with the COVID stuff? Are you guys chilling like Florida or what?
It's not bad at all. I moved here in June of last year, and I don't even know if they actually ever really locked down. I think they probably did in March of 2020 or March and April. They probably did for like a couple weeks or something. But after that, like when I moved here, there wasn't even a mask mandate, and they ended up doing a mask mandate for public spaces for a little while. But it was like at best 50% compliance. Like no one was doing it.
Right.
And
None of the Mormons were doing it.
Yeah, they haven't reinstituted anything. So I don't know. It has not been bad here at all. And then like anywhere rural you go, it's like it's 2019 still. I mean, there's no fucking barriers. There's no masks. There's nothing. So
The Golden Plates didn't say nothing about masks.
yeah. So like, I don't understand why people think it's Florida versus the rest of the country. Like they're acting like Florida is the only state where you can live freely. I mean,
Because you guys also have terrible alcohol laws.
No, it's because
that goes a long way here in Florida.
No, it's electoral. It's because we're a massive electoral state, and we're a swing state. That's why everyone focuses on it.
Fuck you.
They want it to be their state, or they want to hate the state.
27 governors have banned vaccine passports now.
Yeah.
Or states. And it's like everyone's like, oh my god, I gotta move to Florida, or they're gonna fucking put me up against the wall and shoot me. And I just don't understand like why.
No.
Well, it's because it's warm. It's
too many
warm.
people are fucking moving here.
Okay.
It's warm. It's nice. There's a lot to do here as well.
I can explain it.
There's
I can
ass on the
explain it
beach.
very
all the
well.
Josh
time.
has a way of explaining this.
All right. So, and this is the same thing. Like I pick on the Free Staters about up in New Hampshire. Here's the thing with Florida. We're a peninsula. We have a very easy to defend land border to the north. You just have to worry about Alabama and Georgia, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You go to New Hampshire, like it's great. They say they have a little bit more liberties, but you're literally fucking surrounded by some of the worst liberty states in the country, as well as America's retarded hat, Canada. So when all of those countries are pushing in on you, it makes people feel claustrophobic. In Florida, we're like, oh, it's the ocean. Oh, we got Cubans coming up. They hate communism too. They hate this shit as well. So it's beautiful. Like, that's why people love Florida. It's because they're not surrounded by other shitty fucking less liberty states they got to worry about. Oh, no, well, they're going to encroach upon me. Or, oh, well, they're just going to, the weirdos there are just going to overtake it. How are you going to overtake Florida? Is Georgia and Alabama going to come down? No.
No, they're cool with us. Yeah,
exactly.
Contrary to popular belief, the whole country is not like does not hate us. The South fucking loves Florida. That's where everyone goes.
Because we're their
guys,
buffer. Every stupid thing that happens to Florida did it.
In 12 years, all the glaciers are going to be gone. You guys are going to be underwater.
Hey! You don't say that.
I will be living.
Ain't gonna happen.
I saw that ad in 2001.
That's a conspiracy theory, Reed. That ain't happening.
We'll just import a bunch of dirt from Mexico. We'll be all right.
Al Gore's sweating his ass off and shitting his britches.
I hope that doesn't affect
Tim,
the
did you just call Mexicans dirt?
No, I said we're going to import a bunch of dirt from Mexico. You implied that the people were dirt, so you're the racist. Fuck you, bald
You're the
man.
racist.
You guys know
I don't know if they
you all know I love Latinas.
Mexico anymore.
Yes.
You all know I have a thing for the Latino women, so leave it alone.
We have a lot of Mexicans here, but that's because of the amount of construction work because of the hurricanes.
But real quickly, just just go back to what Josh was saying there too. Plus, Florida has the Conch Republic.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Real
Conch Republic.
They succeed where others fail.
Oh my god.
That literally says that on their flag. I'm
it's
not
real.
even kidding.
Yeah. It's real.
Yeah, it's a thing.
This is a good point.
In Florida was St. Augustine. Like I gotta admit, I do hate Florida.
I was just there today.
I hate humidity. I hate bugs. I hate flat ground. Like I'm a mountain person, but St. Augustine was the tits. That was awesome.
Can I just give a
I
little
always
beef
have a great
here?
time in St. Augustine.
So St. Augustine claims to be the first settlement in the United States, the first permanent settlement. Pensacola, where I'm from, is the true first settlement of the United States. We just weren't permanent because a motherfucking hurricane came and wiped us out, and they moved to St. Augustine.
You're a dirty Alabama toucher. Get away from me.
Fuck
You're
St.
not real
Augustine.
Florida, you know?
We were the state capital of West Florida. The only reason we're not a state capital anymore is because we merged with Florida, and then St. Augustine was the capital, and they moved it to Tallahassee.
Yeah, you're basically Alabama. You're not even Florida.
Fucked by Alabama. Like,
I got the
Alabama
water.
boy.
I got the
Alabama
water.
Boy.
As long
I got
as
the water too.
Yeah. No, you got.
Do you have a bunch of crazy ghosts?
No, you have the Gulf. You have fucking sadness. I have the Atlantic. I have the Caribbean, my friend.
Look what you've done, Reed.
No.
It's cause eternal strife.
I have the Great Salt Lake, so I own all you guys.
The Great Salt Lake.
The saltiest of lakes.
Go to an ocean somewhere.
Yeah, also in the apocalypse.
It's weird meeting people who have never been to the ocean because I grew up in New Hampshire, but here, people have just never left Utah, so they've never seen the ocean. It's just that's weird.
To be fair, Utah is a beautiful place with the canyons and the all that stuff. There was a road, you'll know which one it is, but I used to drive on it. You go between these two canyons, and there's a old power station that's in the middle of the road, and you drive by it on both sides. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. There's a lot of
big state.
It's a big ass state.
So those grates up there, so I know this because my dad had a skydiving unit, like a mobile skydiving giant propeller fan, and we trucked it on a semi-trailer all the way from Florida through Utah to Wyoming. And we had to get out of the truck because the grates were not, they were too, I guess, steep for the truck. And we got out and just watched the guy go basically 90 down the whole way. No brakes, just try to handle it on the machine. How is that? How hard is it to drive with all that? I guess you got company trucks, right? So you got updated shit, but
engine brakes. I mean, it's funny, when you're cresting a really long hill and then you have to go down really long too, and you weigh 180,000 pounds or whatever. Everyone behind you, when you're going 4 miles per hour up the hill, they're thinking oh yay, we're getting to the top of the hill. Now he's going to go faster. And then
nope.
And keep the engine brake railed up super high so that you're not frying the brakes and you go just as slow down the other side. So, I mean, my truck, if I have the engine brake all the way up and I stick it in third gear, even if I weigh 200,000 pounds, it'll hold the truck back without having to press the brake at all.
That's pretty dope. We didn't have that. We had a shitter.
Yeah. Some of the new trucks are automatic and they don't have engine brakes sometimes. Those, I fucking hate that. My truck's an 18-speed and it's got a really strong engine brake. And the other thing with the automatics, even if they do have an engine brake, then it'll try to downshift on you and then upshift on you. If you're trying to go down a hill and you want to maintain the same speed, if they have a manual, you can just pop it in whatever gear you want and just the engine brake will hold it.
Yeah,
it'll try to shift up and down, and but we're lowest common denominator. That's the way we're going. We can't teach people how to use 3 pedals anymore, so they gotta. It fucks everyone else over.
You're gonna send us down this
third pedal for?
You're gonna send us down. You're gonna send us down this trucker talk. All right. So I drive a 2020 automatic right now, and it's fucking terrible. We have a cliff like this. It's a hill like this that goes up. We don't even haul that much.
Florida, you don't have anything like this.
Right. Well, no, at the drop yard. At the drop yard, that's what it's like. Just getting out. Just getting out of the ramp. We don't even haul that much weight. The heaviest load that I've carried in the last 3 years has been maybe 18,000 pounds. Not that much weight at all. But
that's
then
what my trailer weighs. No.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's nothing. It's just tortillas and shit. So anyway, you
got them low carb tortillas in your haul.
Right. So, but when you drive up the hill, the 2020s are so terrible. I get up the hill. If I see a car coming, I did it today. I just let off the gas just to like let it go by, so I didn't have to stop at the top because I knew this was going to happen. But I let off the gas just a little bit, and the truck started rolling back with my foot slammed to the fucking floor. They have no power. They're just awful. Backing up is the same thing. They jump and jolt.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Oh my god, it's terrible. I wish I was back in the manual that I trained in.
I don't know why I brought this up. I just wanted to get in some trucker talk. I love the trucker talk, dude.
Manual. It doesn't matter what vehicle it is. Manuals
the
are
thing is,
always
like,
superior to automatics.
With a truck, it's not like driving a car. It's not a 5-speed where you just shift five times and then like in especially heavy haul, you're always shifting. Like because I'm going like 10 miles per hour up a really long hill because I'm so heavy, so I'm like constantly shifting. And I don't know, it's just like part of the experience, and it's fun, and it just like keeps you involved in what's going on. You get in an automatic, it's just like, I don't know, it just like breaks your heart. It's just like, oh, this is so boring. Like, the
This
same.
isn't even trucking anymore.
No.
Yeah,
Pretty soon you're going to have that box like from The Simpsons that just does the driving for you, and you just sit back and relax. You know.
That's what Tesla's doing. Y'all are gonna have some Tesla trucks coming out soon.
When I was training, like going up and down Cabbage, up in the northeast or northwest, sorry, like that was fun. Like going up, like it's one of the tallest mountains you can drive on. You get to look down. There's like this 5-story casino. It's like this tall from the top. You know, going up and down that with a stick shift was great. Going up and down with an automatic, I almost fell asleep. Like it's just boring, dude. Yeah. Like what are you saying? Like you're doing like 4 miles an hour up the whole damn thing, and then going down like maybe 10 because you don't want to end up like the Swift driver in the corner. So
yeah, Swift. They're the best. They're awesome. Swift is actually an acronym. It stands for Sure Wish I Finished Training.
That's right.
See what I fucked up today. They're always the guys going down the on ramp the wrong way, or like you always see them trying to back in at a truck stop and they're not following their trailer. They're just like jackknifing the shit out of themselves. And it's like, what are you doing? And you get out and some guy who doesn't even speak English, and you're like, how did you get your CDL without speaking English or out?
They pay me $5 a day.
So Reed, have you ever been in a situation where you had to like your brakes went out and you had to go one of the runaway ramps?
No,
down a mountain.
God.
He finished
rare. And my sister, I was driving just in a car with my sister through the Rocky Mountains once, and we saw one of those, and she's like, do you think that would be fun to have to use one of those, or would it be terrifying? And I was like, terrifying, because like if you go with one of those, it's just soft gravel and it's made to just like sink your tires in, and it'll ruin your truck usually. And I don't know, that'd be terrifying. I've never had that happen, and hopefully never do. But you guys know Quincy, the trucker?
Yeah.
He blew a steer tire.
Oh man.
Where was he? In Donner's Pass in California, which is like one of the steepest mountain passes in the country. That would be that would probably be worse than losing your brakes. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
That would just be so bad. But,
yeah, you just lose control of the steering wheel, and you have 80,000 pounds behind you, just like pushing you forward. Like, you can't do nothing about it. You're screwed. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hey, so speaking of like terrible, crazy accidents, what happened? You told the story before, I'm sure, but what happened? You got into an accident? What was that?
I got to tell you about that pickup truck because it is very special to me, because I bought that in 2015, and then I drove it to all 49 landlocked states and most of Canada. It's what I drove up to Alaska. I went to like Banff and Jasper and the Canadian Rockies, went to like almost every national park in the 48 contiguous states. And then I flew to Hawaii, didn't take the truck there. But I don't know. I did a lot of traveling with that, owned it for 6 years. It had 330,000 miles on it when it finally.
Wow.
I replaced the engine in it myself. I like did all the suspension. I did all the maintenance on it like the whole time. So like that truck was like part of me almost at this point.
Yeah.
So Clint, he and I were going to Freedom Fest, and he was coming up from San Diego, and Salt Lake City is sort of on the way to South Dakota. So he stopped here, and then we drove separate vehicles because we were both going to go there, and then I was going to drive back, and he was going to keep going east. And we were in Wyoming, and it was late at night, and Clint was behind me. And there was this 5-lane road, so two lanes go in each direction, and then a turn lane in the middle. And it's dark, so I have my headlights on, and there's this kid in the turning lane. So he's looking at me, right, with his headlights on too. Like, so there's no way he can't see me. It's not like he's coming out from like somewhere off the road and doesn't look left. Like, he's just sitting in the turning lane facing me, and I'm going like 40 miles per hour, and he's turning left, like to go into McDonald's. Yeah. So at the very last second, he just pulled right in front of me. And I didn't even like tap the brakes or anything because it was just so fast. And if you look at the pictures of my truck, you'll notice the damage.
I was trying to find them, man.
It's mostly not on the front. It's like actually on the side, like on the, like toward the front on the side. And it just like, it blew my door in. It like crushed the cab. And luckily I actually wasn't wearing my seatbelt. And if I had been, I probably would have lost my left leg because it ripped the floor out like from the back. But luckily when he hit me, it just like threw me into the passenger seat, and I did a 360, and so did he. And Clint thought I was fucking dead, and he gets out of his car and was like, holy shit, you're okay. And I had to get out of the passenger door because I couldn't even open the driver's door. And I'm just looking at myself and my legs and my arms, and I just couldn't believe I was okay. And so then this kid gets out of his car. He's just bawling his eyes out. He comes over and he's like, what am I going to tell my dad about my car? I wanted to knock his teeth out. Because first of all, he ruined like my fucking truck that was like part of me at this point. But also, he almost fucking killed me. Like, I wasn't.
You were an afterthought.
I wasn't even upset about my truck because I was just so amazed I was alive. Like, this is how weird it was. Like, I've always wondered, like, when that truck finally went, like, how sad it was going to be. But, like, I didn't even give a fuck because I was just like, I can't believe I'm not dead, or that my leg's not broken, or that I'm not paralyzed.
Right.
You just walked right away.
Like, dude, you could have killed me. And you could have killed yourself, and you didn't. So just chill out. It's going to be okay. And then the cops showed up, and an ambulance came to check us out. So we're both sitting in the ambulance, and he's still crying and crying. He looks at me again, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to tell my dad. I like just really held my composure. I was like, dude.
Jesus.
Whoa.
So you can see, like, it's mostly on the side. Like, that's how late he turned
Your
in.
fucking tires sideways.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
trying to zoom. It's
what do you think he
up.
did tell him?
Yeah. So
What do you think he told his dad?
Yeah, like there's no getting around that. Like that's
like, hey, Dad, I got in a wreck because I was being dumb.
Have you been?
Oh, it's okay, son. We'll buy you a new car.
Yeah.
That's probably how that went.
It's making me sad. Look at it now. I'm tearing up. No,
I'm sorry, but you know,
Sorry.
it's incredible that you survived.
Take your medicine. No.
Yeah,
I didn't envision it like that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was bad. But yeah, I have that was a 1994 Toyota. Now I have a 1991 4Runner.
You just went backwards.
Just went back older. But this one has air conditioning, which is a huge upgrade, and it's got it's got power windows. So like
there you go.
Now, because now if I want to roll down the passenger window, I don't have to risk getting into a car accident in traffic anymore.
No more carpal tunnel.
Jesus Christ.
But,
all right, boys. Well, I think we're nearing the end here. So, you know, I'm glad that you survived your car accident so that you could be here tonight with us.
You're so selfish. You're so selfish, dude.
You're like the 18-year-old kid with his car.
Honestly, I just love the best part of that story was just how like touching Clint was through that whole thing. It truly showed he cared.
Yep.
Until you broke his heart.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone just wants a piece of Reed.
I mean, like,
I'd
imagine losing that truck though. That's just like that feeling of like I always thought you would go, but not like this.
Well, it's funny.
It
got stolen a year ago, and it was gone for 6 weeks. And I actually bought another truck, like the same vintage, and then the police found it. So then I sold the truck I'd bought, and I was like, well, I guess I got this thing for now, and then it fucking gets wrecked in the park a year later. So
You bought the exact same truck. It's like getting your dog dies and you buy the exact same dog afterwards, you know.
And then you find your dog again, and you're like,
yeah.
Your dog is really dead.
Dog comes back. He's like, "Fucking who?"
I mean, have you not seen Pet Sematary? Bad things happen, you know.
Yeah, Stephen King. That's one of my favorite Stephen King ones, just because.
All right, boys. Audit check. Did you finish your 2 drinks tonight?
I'm at 5. I'm at 5.
All right. Reed Coverdale, thank you again for coming on. Where can people find you? What's up?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Reed Coverdale. On YouTube, it's The Naturalist Capitalist. Don't do Reed Coverdale because you'll actually come up with all my Tower Gang episodes.
Yeah, who wants to watch those losers? Yeah.
Right. Hey, did they bail us out last week?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But The Naturalist Capitalist on YouTube. And I'm actually going to be having Tulsi Gabbard on at some point in the next couple months. So
very nice, very nice.
Oh, nice.
All right.
You gonna ask her about predator drones?
What's your favorite type? What's your favorite
Right.
Hellfire missiles.
You like if it kills only 50% civilians or more than
Oh, damn, bro.
Gonna go hard in the paint. Got it.
Let everybody.
That's the only way.
Anybody else got anything great to plug?
I got some stuff. So go check out the Libertarian Frontier on Teespring as well as TeePublic or the Proud Libertarian, because I try to sell everywhere and anywhere my designs can be sold. Also, just go follow Cypherpunk Scribe on Twitter and go check out the YouTube channel, where one of these days I will figure out what the next podcast I will be doing on there will be about.
One day.
One day. Someday in the future.
Anybody else?
No.
Yeah, I got.
Join the Mises Caucus if you haven't already.
There you go. Go check out the Higher Frequency Podcast Network. I do the Luchadors of Liberty, and college football season's back. We do college football extravaganza weekly. So yeah, go check that out. And also, I'm now Region 1 representative of the Libertarian Party of Florida. Let's go! We're gonna get these counties affiliated.
Rob.
Way to promote that.
Anyway, hey, Reed,
I got nothing.
Thanks once again for coming, and thanks for not bailing on us like fucking Michael Heiss. All right? So,
Yeah.
Don't write him so hard, man.
I
If
will
I had to...
until he comes back. I will. Thanks for joining us, Reed. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and it's been a lot of fun, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I do have something to plug. Something good. As soon as I can fucking find it.
Is it our next guest? Is it our next guest?
It is our next guest. Where the fuck is he? There we go. Guess who it is?
Hey!
The Frogman himself, Drew Hancock, will be here next week, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. The guests only get better. Sorry, Reed. Everybody have a good night.
Bury him at the end.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks, Reed.